Okay, here we are with ClearCom Technologies, and we are going to show you how to remove a Saab 9.3 airbag from the steering wheel. What we're going to do first is we're going to show you a wheel that's not on the car. And what we're going to do is come to the back of the steering wheel where you can see the access holes for the airbag. And what you do is you bring the tool to the back of the wheel, and the CIM should be right here where my finger is pushing down on the tool. You bring the tool in at an angle. You want the hook part of the tool acting like it's going to come right over the shaft of the steering wheel, and you want to come in at the 1 and 11 o'clock position. So on this, we're going to come in at, this would be about the 1 o'clock position, and you're going to slide it in so it's about right here. You can kind of see the edge of both of these two corners with the CIM on there. So as you put it in place, you're simply going to rotate. I'll hold my finger here to act like the CIM. You're going to find this corner, and there's a little lip here, so you can get caught on the lip. So you kind of got to back up, but make sure you stay in this corner, and then just rotate the tool down into this corner, and it will fall right into that pocket. And as you can see, if you can see inside the hole there, that it's on the other side of the spring. You rotate the tool so it's parallel to this arm, and it will get in the way of the wiper arm, but just kind of come in there as best you can. And as you push on it, you will feel the tension of that spring. As you can see, it just pushed off of there, and you'll want to pull that corner of the airbag so that the spring clears the hook inside the wheel. Then what you're going to do is come around to the other side. Same deal, hook like it's coming around the shaft. Wrong angle. We're going to come in at the 11 o'clock position. And once again, we're going to come into this corner. Like I said, don't get caught on the lip. Back up a little bit. Rotate down. And as you rotate in, you should fall right into that pocket. Swing the tool around. Push the spring off. And you will, like I said, you'll have the benefit of the wheel not moving on you. But at that point, you can push the airbag, and it's cleared, and the airbag will come off of the steering wheel at this point. You've got to, as we turn it around, you'll want to make sure that the rubber edges here get kind of hung up. And so you'll pull on these a little bit right here, make sure they clear, but don't tug on this too hard, because the pigtail for the airbag is right here. It's only about 3 inches long, and you can break that or break the CIM. Okay, we're here at ClearCom Technologies. We're going to pull the airbag off of the steering wheel. This is going to be in 2 segments. We're going to release one side of the airbag, and then we're going to release the other side and then pull the airbag off. So this is the first of 2 segments, and this is to show that from the original video you saw me putting the tool in and releasing the spring. That looked pretty seamless. It's a little bit trickier once you're in the car. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in, we're going to have the hook handle, part of the handle facing the shaft. We're going to slide between the CIM and the steering wheel, and I'm going to get out of the car here and come in at this corner so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm getting caught right on the lip, so I back it up. The tool starts to rotate down, and as I rotate into position, the fun part is you can't really see it, but now I've got it, I think, in the hole. I had to move the wiper arm down. As I push in, this corner has popped up, and hang on. What I'm going to do is you want to put something in here to hold the airbag from snapping back down. I'm going to put the tool in here for a second while I grab a second tool. Okay, here we are back on segment 2. I've put a screwdriver in the corner between the airbag and the wheel. That keeps the airbag from snapping back down and keeps me from having to re-release it. We're going to take our tool, we're going to put it in so the handle is coming back around the shaft here between the airbag, or the steering wheel, and the CIM. I'm going to get my head in the way here so I can see, and we're going to basically try and rotate this in, and that pushed the airbag and has released the other side. You can see the airbag pops out about 1/4 of an inch all the way across the top. It popped out 1/4 of an inch here. It's now popped out 1/4 of an inch here. I'm going to rotate the tool and take it back out since we're now released, and get in the car so I can pull this away. You don't want to pull the airbag too hard or too fast because the pigtail's only about 3 inches. So I've now pulled it off. It's loose. I'm going to look in the top here. Oh, and I've just unplugged it without even hitting the release. That's why you don't want to yank on it too hard. There is also 2 more connectors. There's a ground connector that just unplugs from a blade connector, and then there is the radio controls, which simply pull out and unplug. And with that, we've got the airbag off the column.
Now we move to removing the steering wheel. The steering wheel is held on with 1 bolt. That bolt is a T50 bolt. So I simply attach the ratchet until the bolt comes loose. At this point, I simply pull the steering wheel off, and here is the CIM module, this module right here. This is what you need to send in the mail. Now, most important, we need to mark the location of the clock spring. This is the clock spring. This is one of the reasons I use the scratch-all tool. I want to mark 2 locations. Right here is a little moon-shaped hole with a yellow plastic dot. That is the indicator of the location of the clock spring. So I make a little scratch here to show the location of the clock spring indicator, and I want to make a little scratch right here to show the actual location of the clock spring. That way, when the CIM module is returned to you, you know exactly how to reinstall it and in what location it is, to not permanently damage your CIM module. Now we'll proceed to removing the CIM module.
On the CIMs, I find it easier if you release and the CIM pulls out, it telescopes in and out, pull it out as far as it pulls out and then lock it back in place. The next thing we're going to do is remove the bib, and this is just hiding the driver's view from the internal workings of the car. But all I do is I pinch both sides. You pinch it right here and just pull it towards you. It will just unsnap. And what I like to do is I just unsnap it and stretch it right over the CIM. That gets it out of your way. Now, there are 2. I'm going to move this down. I forgot to move it out and down. So we're going to move it down so we can get, actually I can grab both hooks. There's 2 big tangs holding the CIM onto the column, and I can pull the bottom one down with my fingers, but the top one I can't get enough leverage on. So I'm going to stick a screwdriver and lift it up, and with that the CIM has pulled away, and the only thing holding the CIM to the car now is the harness. And all you do is you pull out on this little maroon connector. I'm going to use a screwdriver just to get it started. After I've got it started, I'm going to pull on it with my fingers, and it ejects, and the CIM is now off of the car. Here are the 2 tangs that were holding it to the column, so those simply get pulled out to release them from their resting points on the column.
With the CIM module removed from the vehicle, we want to prepare it for shipping. First thing we do is tape the clock spring into place. Just a couple pieces of tape on there. Secure it down so that it won't move during shipping. Then, to remove the shroud, we simply pull and wiggle just like we did to remove it off of the dashboard. Both sides just pop right off. And the final thing we need to do is remove the wiper arm and blinker arm. If you look on the underside, there's a small release hole on both of the arms. And if I grab my scratch awl again and come in on that release hole at about a 45-degree angle from the rear, it presses down on a tab and the arm pulls right out. At this point, the CIM is ready to ship. This is exactly what we need to be able to make you a new key. So, simply wrap it in a couple of layers of bubble wrap. And stick it in a box slightly larger than the CIM itself. And you can fill in any empty spaces with either packing peanuts or crushed paper. And finally, on the website, you can print off our order form and fill it out with your ship to address and phone number and put it in the box with the CIM module. That way, when it arrives, we know exactly where it came from and where it needs to go and who to contact.